What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Love and War. I'm your host, Dr. Francis, and today we are going to be talking about who is really responsible for your happiness. Now, before we jump into the topic, we're going to do like we always do and say what's up to the panel tonight. First out the gate, tatted all the way up. Showtime.
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's had a great Mother's Day weekend. I enjoyed my mother and my grandmother during this time. But remember, every day is Mother's Day, just not just one day.
Yes.
Having a good jump off out of my week, and looking forward to having a great weekend. Have some nice things coming up this weekend.
Yes, and shout out to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day to those of you who, celebrated, to those of you who have parents who are, your mom is no longer here with you, but she's looking down from above. We send our love to you during this time. We're going to say what's up to Theo. Pull your mask up because people are still wearing it over their mouth only.
They are, and that's weird to me. That's like wearing a condom, but just over your balls. But I was going to say, I too also have tattoos. You didn't say nothing about my tattoos. But
oh, my bad.
I'm doing good. A little tired working out. Take some off days, but other than that, I'm doing good.
Okay. I am second COVID shot today.
That's why your eyes starting to twitch like that.
Which one you get?
I had Pfizer.
I didn't have any symptoms last week. I was good.
I haven't had any, and I didn't have any the first time. I was, however, on a meeting with a group that will remain nameless, who was the cause of the headache that I had. They're currently meeting right now in my bathroom on Zoom as I'm in here on another Zoom with you know who. You know who's on that, who be on my phone for 3-4 hours into the night after a 3-4 hour meeting. Shout out to TW. How you doing tonight? I like the hairstyle.
Thank you. I'm doing all right. Let me tell you, I have reclaimed my time with my hair up. Like, listen, it's a whole process. Like, even with locks, I'm telling you, it's a whole process. So to just get up and not have to worry about it, I'm good.
Theo, doesn't her hair grow like every minute?
She be flecking natural juices and berries. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, and shout out to the loctician. For those of you who have locks and you want to keep them long and healthy, you should invest in what we call a loctician, not a stylist that knows how to do maintenance on the locks. A loctician is able to keep the health,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here for all the shade, yes. Shout out to my loctician, Dr. Micheline Bryce, aka Mimi. She is the reason why my hair has been growing and flowing.
Between somebody loctician so I can get my beard like Theo's. What is he getting locked between?
Yes, that's that Beijing boy. That Beijing is on fleek.
Nah, ain't none of that. This is also natural juices and berries. Why ain't your time I'm talking about?
Oh man, so we're going to jump right into the topic. And let me tell you, I'm just going to put this out there. This is a true story. The person is going to remain nameless. But as you know, if you're out here watching and you're a fan and you say, hey, you're using my example. Yes, because that's what happens when you discuss relationships with me. They become topics on Love and War, but you will remain nameless. So, we just want to jump right into it. Who is responsible for your happiness really in a relationship? And I want to drill this topic down because I find that as we journey through life, and people reach the epitome of a relationship with a companion in our culture, marriage-wise, and then they end up getting divorced. And, and even if you're not married, you're with someone, let's just say long-term relationship. I'm talking about the relationship where you've been in for more than 5 years and maybe y'all live with each other. Maybe you're like what we call common law married, where y'all just pretending or doing everything that married couples would do. You just don't have a certificate of marriage or the title or a ring on your finger. And you even have some people who walk around with promise rings forever, like they're married, but they never actually participated in the ceremony, but they consider themselves exclusive and they operate like they are in a marriage. who is responsible for your happiness? So there's, a colleague of mine who, they were approaching the 12th year, and they recently divorced, but there was trouble in paradise at year 10. And I hear that often. Year 10 is a challenging year. So I know next season I want to get on, we're going to do a show on the truth about year 10 in marriage, because that's where I see and hear a lot of people starting to get divorced when they move from the single digits to the double digits. And a lot of times, in my opinion, I think that, people already saw the signs that person that wasn't for them, but they settled, or they just married that person for the sake of, or maybe that person put on a good show and fooled them. And once they had them reeled in, was like, I'm going to show you who I really am. But the number one thing that I hear most common about why the person is divorcing or why they're breaking up is this: they didn't make me happy. They couldn't make me happy. So I want to take that and I want to dissect it tonight. Now, with the understanding that, of course, when you get into a relationship, that person should be in the equation of contributing to happiness. They should never be taking away from. But who is responsible for your happiness? I'm going to go with Showtime first and then TW.
Man, that's tough. Virgo to Virgo. You're in control of your happiness. Fellow Virgo, Jada Pinkett, stated to her husband before, that you can make a person smile, you can make a person laugh, you can do a lot of things, but if you are unhappy with who you are, if you're unhappy with your situation, that's a feeling. My father used to say, your happiness is like pissing on yourself. The only person that can feel it is you.
One more time. You always be having the stuff that we be like, wow, that actually makes sense. One more time, Showtime.
The only person that can make you happy is yourself. It's like pissing on yourself. The only person that can feel it is you. So you are definitely in control of your own happiness. You're definitely the one who can make yourself happy. I have various friends who are in marriages and their wives aren't happy. That's because of who they are, where they are, not having any friends. You can't stop one person. You can't stop your husband and or your wife from enjoying time with their friends because they actually have friends, and you're bored because you don't have friends. So with the situation, I always say you have to walk into a situation happy. It's just like when you walk into a relationship and they say, oh, we're going 50-50. No, I want 120, 120. I don't want 50% of a person. So if you walk into a situation where you're not already happy, no matter, it's nothing, that person can give you $10 million, give you anything you want, Bentayga, you drive the best cars in the world. But if you're not happy with who you are and where you are in your life, that person can never make you happy. So it lies within.
Drop that mic, sip that cup.
I think it's so funny, like Showtime said, Virgo, really. We are so blunt. But yes, happiness is definitely a personal thing. If you're not happy within yourself, then you're going to look for other vices to fill the void, when really you should be looking at the heart. Who are you? If you don't even know who you are, that's the first problem right there. Because if you don't know who you are, how are you going to be happy with yourself, be content with yourself, or even figure out the things that could contribute to your happiness? And so I think that's where a lot of people fall short when it comes to being married and miserable, because they're looking for unrealistic expectations from other people to fill areas that they need to do within themselves.
Theo, same question. Who is responsible for your happiness?
I mean, it's you're responsible for your own happiness. Like when you wake up in the morning, you decide how you're going to feel. Like I make the decision, am I going to be optimistic, realist, pessimistic, and that's how your day goes. I think for someone to want or think someone else to make them happy is very selfish, because that's more on you. And I mean, you change. I think what happens within the long relationships that like they divorce, what happens is they're used to that person or anything they should make them happy. But no, you change throughout the years. You're not the same person who you once were. So you might have in the beginning, this person, like you was happy, you was good, but you changed. So you need to communicate with that person your changes and what's going on so things can happen. But I'm not supposed to make you happy. That's not my job. Like I'm here to comfort you. I'm not going to steal your happiness from you, but I'm not supposed to make you happy. That's not my job.
Right. And I agree with that because I asked, the person, when their spouse said, "You don't make me happy," what was the response? And he said, "I mean, I did everything you wanted me to do. What else? I mean, what else is it that you want?" And like oftentimes, I think people use that as an excuse to just they don't want to be in the relationship anymore. So they will find that, "Oh, it's not you, it's me. Oh, you don't make me happy." And then when he asked, "Well, could you explain what am I not doing that would contribute to your happiness?" I can't put my finger on it. Sound like you need an appointment at TW's office if you can't put your finger on it. And then she would go into like, "Oh, well, my friend's husband does this and you don't do that for me. And my friend's boyfriend does this for her and he took her to Tahiti and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da." So I'm going to pull out the religious book and it says, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's ... fill in the blank." You cannot expect, or you should not even put a standard on the person that you're with based off of what's happening in your friends' relationships. Because he might be taking his wife to Tahiti because they can afford it. Maybe y'all don't have the budget. If you're not working and only one income is coming in the house, bills got to be paid. Or maybe he's taking her to Tahiti because she threatened to divorce him and he's trying to keep her. But you cannot, for folks who are using their friends' relationships as a basis to judge their own happiness, you got to stop doing that. So TW, I want to ask you this because we see this oftentimes with women always comparing. What is the deal? What is the deal? What is the deal with that? And then I'm gonna get on the male's perspective of how that chimes in with men because I don't see a lot of men saying, "Ooh, I want to." My homie took his girl to Cancun. I'm gonna do what he do, but maybe they do. But for women, why do we always compare?
Cancel Cancun, by the way. That's the new Black folk mind.
Cancel Cancun. Okay.
We talk about this all the time, and I think that's why our circle is so small. Because honestly, it's insecurity. A lot of times we get this a lot. That's where the discernment and wisdom kicks in. Like the people, are they connected to you or are they attached to you? And the attachment piece is because they see something in you that they wish they could obtain. So instead of trying to glean from how you got there, then it's more so I'm now going to be envious, or I'm now going to start comparing myself, and I'm going to now project my insecurities and be real critical because I want her to feel like how I feel every day. Instead of, again, from looking outward, you need to look inward. And so a lot of it really stems from insecurities because insecurities is now the cousin of jealousy and comparison. And so that's why you just got to be real selective, like who you're around. Association brings assimilation. So if you're around people who are constantly nagging, being negative, really don't see any progress or productivity of where they're going, then maybe you need to rethink who you're around. And so a lot of people, especially women, they look at what they consider success, and then that's where the comparison piece comes in. And it's just really bad. It's just really bad. And it also could stem from, like I say every episode, some unresolved trauma from childhood that they brought in. And now they're just projecting it on everyone else and just expecting everyone else to live up to whatever this unrealistic ideology they got going on. Like, okay, I need you to do this for me so I can feel validated, or I need to look a certain way or wear certain brands to feel like I'm worth something or I have value. But it's like at the end of the day, when those brands are stripped, who are you? You don't know? Oh, okay, sis. Come to a session. God bless.
And so Thea, I want you to jump in here because women, and I want you to, from the male's perspective, how does it impact the relationship, with the comparison? And sometimes women use these things as like ways to get what they want. And, so typically women will compare and, oh, JoJo took his wife here and I want to go there. How does that impact the man in the relationship always having to, and this is pun is intended, keep up with the Joneses? Being as though,
It could be, I guess it could be defeating for a man because you're like, I'm trying my best over here, but like, my best isn't good for you. But I feel like sometimes women look at, I guess it could be friends, but I don't feel like it's close friends because your close friends, like real relationship problems, like, oh, he took her there, but they still be tripping. I feel like you're looking like at Instagram and stuff like that. But the problem with what people put on Instagram, they're putting their highlight reel on Instagram. Like I'm putting my best out here. Like I'm not putting the 13 hours I had to work to do this, to get this flight and all this and everything like that. I'm just showing you the bottles of mimosas, the unlimited drinks, the beach, and all that stuff. So I think you have to try to let your lady know in the easiest way, or if you can't get one of her friends to, like, yo, this is a highlight reel. Like, this isn't real. Like, I honestly tell her to look at her Instagram. People probably say the same thing about yours. These brunches you going to and all this stuff, they're like, why don't you take me to brunch? Why don't you do this? Like, it's because you're showing everything, but everyone has problems. And look, just start a savings account. If you want to travel somewhere, start a savings account and go somewhere and have fun. But just stop looking at everybody because it's their highlight reel.
So do men compare in relationships? Like, my homie wife got him this. I want you to do that for me too. Do men do that?
Simps do that. I don't do no crap like that. They got me messed up. I would never compare. See, the thing is, people get in that compare game and always want to be like, oh, she did this, he did that. I try and focus on my relationship and what I have going on, because at the end of the day, no two relationships are ever going to be the same. Even when you're in the relationships, my first relationship not gonna be like my third not gonna be like my fourth. So at the end of the day, you have to take it. It's a trial and error thing that you learn within relationships. So I don't suggest men doing that or comparing what their homies are getting, because at the end of the day, you don't know their relationship, and until you're in it, you don't really know the true ins and outs of it. So I try to stay out of it, because people will sit there and have you thinking that, I know people personally that post things like Theo said, that's your highlight reel, even we played sports back in the day, they'd be like, yo, you can't trust the highlight film. I need to see the real game tape. I need to see the whole footage, everything that you did. Because at the end of the day, I know a young lady right now who posts like she's the happiest woman in the world, and she's really not happy. And she does everything for her dude, and she posts it. But for her, it makes everyone else think, excuse me. It makes everyone
Get that COVID shot.
Ain't no COVID. That's the good old pollen count up. But she wants everyone to think that they're better than what they are, and they're not good at all. And she does so much for this particular dude, and you would think like, yo, they went to Thailand, they went to Jamaica, they in Greece, but she's trying to buy his happiness.
Yeah.
She's trying to buy his attention.
Mm-hmm.
And because she's the breadwinner, she's showing off. If she's spending that bread, I'm talking like $5,000 a month on this guy. but she just wants the attention. Now I say, we can be friends. You can just spend the $5,000 on me. I'm a next person, around the world. We're gonna have fun. Who you want me to be? Cut my head, grow my head. Whoever you want me to be, I can be. But my whole thing is, though, you have to really, really look at it and say, you know what, fellas, don't worry about what the next man has going on, because you might not want that headache. You don't know what he's putting up to go through that. You got to stay in your lane and do you the best of your ability, and don't worry about everybody else. Everybody can't be a Jones.
Yeah, and this also goes for the inverse, because sometimes I see people bringing their friends' baggage into their relationship. I remember one time I was dating a guy, and his best friend, girlfriend, and the best friend were having communication problems. So he, I guess the best friend was venting to him one day, and he later on the day, he hits me up and says, "Do you think we have problems with our communication?" I was like, "What?" You know what? To the chat. No, we do not have communication problems, but we're about to have communication problems if you want to bring your friend baggage into this relationship here. Do not do that. So to add to the frustration with the example we were going with earlier, where the gentleman got a divorce because the wife said he wasn't making her happy. This is the same person who started going through his phone because her friend's husband was texting other women on Instagram. Getting their number in the DM and then was texting them and stuff like that. This guy didn't even have an Instagram account, right? A personal. He had one for work. She took his work computer, logged onto his work Instagram account to see if he was talking to other women through the work Instagram account. Had to get IT involved and all types of stuff. I said, Jesus, Lord, is it that serious? So with those who are, mimicking or trying to mimic the happiness of others or the highlight reel of other relationships, what do we say, TW, about the folks who want to bring somebody else's problems into their relationship? I'm just confused at this point.
Stop. Because it's foolish. Like, if you have to spend so much time with researching, investigating throughout your relationship, do you even have one? Like, I don't understand. When people just consume all of their time and attention on things that are going against what you're trying to build, what's the point? I don't understand it. I mean, it's just like, if you just want to sit and be with someone just to try to self-sabotage it, because that's what she's doing, then you need to be by yourself. You're not ready. You're not ready to be with anyone because you have trust issues. And my thing is, no man ever wants to feel like he's being watched or under surveillance all the time. So she needs to be by herself.
Go ahead, Showtime.
I was like, I wasn't ready. It's just like, at the end of the day, beginning of the day, TW hit the valid points. I just think that everything is self-reflection. You gotta look at yourself. You gotta look at where you are. You gotta look at where y'all trying to be, and where you trying to go. What do you really want out of your relationship? Don't look outside when you need to look inside. Don't, how I say go, don't go throwing glass stones. Don't throw stones in a glass house.
Woo!
Focus on what's going on within your home, and don't, people just, you know what, Theo? It's Instagram, man.
Yeah.
It's Instagram. It's social media. Our parents didn't have these issues like that. This is us, our era, and we want to be, people want to be who they aren't. They want to be celebrities. They think they're going to have a Will and Jada. They think that now everybody want a situation.
But they don't want to go through that. They don't want to go, see? Because Will and Jada had their testing trial. So a lot of people wouldn't be able to stand on 2 feet after their testing trial.
So at the end of the day,
right, entanglements.
You know what I mean? So we not there. We have to I can't, like I said before, my marriage with my ex-wife was my marriage with my ex-wife. It's not really marriage with my next wife. I was compared in one time. Oh, I'm used to doing this. And you know what I said? Well, go be with him. If that's what you used to, go be with him. It ain't me. So if that's what you're used to, go to that. If you can't live up to what people's standards and expectations, that's when you have to say, you know what? I bow out. I can't do this anymore. I'm not always going to try and live up to the next person's expectation, not even the person I'm in a relationship with.
Go ahead, Theo.
Nah, I agree with what the Virgo said. I had to look up. Virgos are compatible with Capricorn, so I had to understand why I was agreeing with them. But nah, it's just you can't compare. Like, what do you like? I always said Instagram, and I'm gonna take a step for it's actually the Androids folks' problems. When Instagram was just iPhones, we didn't have these problems. But but nah, it's just why like you're comparing things. I'm trying to think back at a time when comparing ever without argument was good. Like even I'm a sports guy. You try to compare LeBron to Jordan to Kobe. Like you can't do these things because everyone it's funny, it's more of a different relationship. Everyone's in a different era in their own relationship. So you can't compare what's going on with my relationship, your relationship, what you used to do, what I used to do. We're all in different eras. So like just be yourself and live in the moment.
Facts. Well, y'all, we're down to the hour. Time flies when you're having fun and when you're dropping gems of advice on relationships. So I want to just do our final words of advice. But before I do that, I just want to say this. Stop spending so much time window shopping for a relationship that you don't have and focus on doing what it is you need to do to ensure that you are happy. Because you out here window shopping in somebody else's relationship. How about take your eyes off of their relationship, go to your bathroom, look in the mirror and ask yourself this question. What do I need to do to make myself happy? Now, we're not going to discount the fact that people can contribute to stealing your joy, trying to limit who you are, trying to ruin the self-esteem that you have. Those kinds of relations, those kinds of toxic people who are taking and pulling, but you should not put the onus 100% on someone else to make you happy. Because like Theo said, when you wake up in the morning, the moment you open your eyes and take in that first breath and put your foot down on the ground, you have the power to make up in your own mind what kind of day you're going to have, what kind of life you're going to have, what kind of relationship. And most of the times, from a lot of the challenges that I hear with people who run a divorce, and I'm not talking about, if you get, if it's domestic violence or if it's habitual cheating and they can't keep it to themselves. I'm talking about people who getting divorced because somebody won't wash the dishes. You knew he wasn't washing dishes when you met him. Oh, I divorced him because he would never put the toilet seat down and I fell in the toilet too many times in the middle of the night.
Martin told you, you look and then you sit.
Right. Who going into the bathroom and not looking? I mean, we're not even gonna go there. So that is your responsibility to make sure that you are, what we say, you are a happy, whole person before you introduce to another happy and whole person. And together, you guys, chemistry, you take it to such a level that you couldn't even imagine. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to final words of advice. We're going to start with Theo, Showtime, and then TW.
I'm going to say happiness, like a good Denzel movie, it's an inside job. Don't give someone the power to make you happy. Like you're giving other people power to make you feel how you want to feel. Take that power back. It's an inside job. Be happy. I promise you, be optimistic. You'll feel better throughout the day. I'm trying to tell you, you'll feel better. So that's all I'm saying.
Dr. Frank said, don't be no window shopper. So at the end of the day, beginning of the day, man, I know how to avoid all of this. Like you all said, you got to come into a relationship as a whole person. Don't get into a relationship until you understand who you are. Don't yearn for a relationship so bad that unfinished business. A broken puzzle has never been as beautiful as the actual masterpiece when it's put together. So when you are complete, that's when you step into the realm and say, look, now I'm ready because I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I expect. And I am in control of my happiness. Like Theo said, that's a lot of power. And if you give someone that much power over you, they will dangle so many times. If that power gets to the wrong hand, they will dangle it over top of you and they will manipulate you, and you'll be worse than you walked in. So before you go in, check yourself at the door and make sure you're ready for that situation.
Okay, they'll be dangling it like a dog to a snack. You know how you play with the dog and they go jump up for it and yeah, no, yeah, buddy.
I didn't know where you was gonna go with that.
Yeah.
Dangling fruit.
And all that. I didn't know what she was talking about. You know.
Right. I have a dog and I'm always I'm like, you want a snack, buddy? I put it down far enough and reach it and then I lift it up higher. Oh, you can't get it.
The dangling fruit method. I would definitely say life is too short to be married and miserable. So be honest with yourself and don't be afraid of personal accountability. It's personal for a reason because you have to be intentional on doing the inner work. Means self-examination, people, before you decide to be in a relationship with someone.
All right, y'all, that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Love and War. I'm your host, Dr. Francis. You can do like you always do. Catch us every Monday night from 8 to 8:30 p.m. But as customary, we do go on a hiatus on the summertime. We come back in the fall with fresh new material. If you missed the archive shows, you can head right over to Spotify. You can go to Spreaker. You can go to Google Podcasts. You can go to Apple Podcasts. You can also go to the website, www.dearcrissi.com, and catch the archive shows you missed. But for now, that's all we have. Stay tuned, folks. Like, share, drop something in the comments.